Welcome to Precision Programming Quick Tip, Quick Video. There's been a lot of controversy, or not controversy, but question of when selecting and, for example, using model prep and push and pull, or for example, let's just jump right in here. So let's take a look, for example, of adding the gnomon. So I'm going to go ahead and select the top here. Some of the question is that, hey, when we go to select and drag and pull, so of course if I go ahead and put my cursor right over that Y right there, I'm in metric right now, so I'm going to say, hey, I'd like to move that positive 5 millimeters. So I just put my cursor right over the top and start typing, and you can see that it moves it. Or of course at any given time you can select and start to pull, and once you're starting to pull, I think most know that you can go ahead and type in a value at that time. This works really well with our dynamic gnomon. Now the other option too is where it seems to shine and come up with that same type of configuration is looking under wireframe. Let's go to bounding box. We'll select bounding, select the part and selection. Now we want to do the push-pull configuration, right? So being able to do that, so I go ahead and grab a face. So I'll go ahead and grab a face there. So once again, I can go ahead and pull it, or I could just put my cursor right over the top of that, and I could say 10 millimeter to be able to do the same thing. And we'll go into model prep, and I'll go ahead and pull this over a little bit here. Let's do push-pull. So of course I can select, right? I can select all of these real easily, and if I put my mouse there, I could say minus 5 millimeter to make them 5 millimeter shorter. Of course, we already know that we can push and pull those values. Also too, you can do with the push and pull is I will hold the control key down and select a diameter. You'll see it grabs all of them. Once again, same thing here. It's showing me that it's a 5 millimeter radius. I might want that to be a 7 millimeter radius. So as soon as I start to type, I can get that to happen if I hit escape. And once again too, of course, I can always do the pull direction, but we can always type at any time saying once again 7 millimeter. So you can see the tool works really well on that, being able to do two ways to select once you start going into those functions. Once again here going into a FillIt. So in this case you can see it wants to default to a 0.02 millimeter. In this case I might say I want a 3 millimeter by just start typing, as long as the same process as before is that the cursor is laying over the top of the functional arrow. For example, just like that. Once I see that highlighted, now I can start to type and put in values. At no given point can I just go ahead and start typing, because you see as soon as I start to do that, it actually goes out of the function. We hope you find that as a helpful tip using your model prep, using your dynamic WCS, using in all these different types of locations. Of course, in your transform, whenever there's that kind of thing where you can push and pull or move, you can put your cursor over the top of that and be able to move that. Let's take a look at transform real quickly and look at the translate. Now the translate, in this case, going ahead and selecting there, if I put my cursor, it does highlight, but as soon as I start to try to type, but before I do that, if you look to the left over where it says delta here, it automatically highlights. So in that case, it's looking at that to be typed into and be active. So in this case, for this particular one, putting your cursor over it, you have to select it, but once you select it, you can go ahead and type in the value, or you can drag it. I hope you find this helpful.